Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Now today is a little bit different. I'm going to be talking to you about something that has happened recently and I wanted to just kind of talk openly about. Before I go any further though, you may notice my face is looking a bit weird. Penelope, my dog, today is not the only one that's been in the wars. I've actually, you can hear by my voice, it's still not better. So I'm currently have a tube that's in my nose and it's going up into my nose, down all the way into my stomach, and it's basically attached to this rather delightful little bag that's measuring all my acid levels. So you know what, I kind of thought at one stage I was like, no, let's wait until it's all done, then I can film. But I thought, you know what, this is my life, so I'd rather share with you guys the good and the bad times. So normally I'd be looking a lot more kind of dressed up and really lovely, but after what's happened over the last week, I'm in a hoodie. This is reality. I'm in a hoodie with stuff taped to the side of my face, and we're just going to roll with it. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about today, you may have seen on my Instagram, I asked you guys if you wanted me to do a video. Basically I've had a week of hell. So let's go back to the beginning. I do actually have Nelly on me. She's sleeping at the moment, but I will show you her in a minute. I've done some close-ups so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But let's go back to the beginning. So bank holiday, we had obviously the Monday off in the UK. On the Sunday, I woke up, everything was fine, Nelly was great. And then I kind of started to notice through the morning, we were going to my mum's for some lunch, and I kind of started to notice that she was like blinking a bit more than normal, and she just seemed a bit irritated by her eye. We tried to look in her eyes, she had nothing in there, like literally she was absolutely fine. And so we just kept kind of like, you know when you kind of boil water, let it cool down, that completely obviously sterilises it. Well, we were just kind of doing that, using a sterilised kind of baster, and just trying to put it into her eye just to flush whatever it was through. Later on that day, I then went back home, and Nelly still didn't seem better. So it got to the evening, and obviously it was the weekend, it was out of hours. I had an appointment with the vets on Tuesday anyway, because Nelly needed her glands squeezing, but I just thought enough is enough, you know your own dog. So I rang one of those out of hours vets, and I basically said to them what was happening. And all they did was they said to me, take her for a walk, and if she perks up, which she did, she was loving life, if she's eating normally, and as long as she isn't scratching her eye, which she wasn't going near, then it's not an emergency. At this point, this is why I'm making this video, I would just like to point out, if any of you guys even suspect that you have something in your dog's eye, that your dog has something in there, screw the professionals, screw the out of hours service, because I'm sorry, but I spoke to one vet and 2 veterinary nurses, and they all told me the same thing, that it wasn't an emergency. Actually, that was an emergency. If your dog or animal gets any kind of discomfort in their eye, you have hours to act. I finally, I found that out, unfortunately, the hard way. But I didn't know that at the time. I was doing all this research, and a lot of stuff online says it, it happens in dogs over the age of 6. So you think, let's not worry about it, it'll be fine. So we kind of went to bed that night, and I slept with Nelly in my bed because I was so worried about her. So the next morning, Monday was very, very similar. Again, I was still kind of really freaking out about it, but she didn't really seem any worse. So again, I rang the out of hours vets. No, same response. So I thought, okay, we've just got to get you through until tomorrow. So I kept kind of bathing her eye, and kept her as comfortable as possible. So long story cut short, we wake up on Tuesday morning. Nelly's due to have a vet's appointment in the afternoon. It kind of then hit lunchtime, and I noticed this like blue kind of grey haze over her eye. And then not only that, I then noticed this huge slash in her eye. I'm not even joking, you guys. It was almost like someone had just got like, I don't know what it, like a pin, and just sliced through her eye. So I rang the vets and I was like, I'm coming now, I'm coming immediately. Got down to the vets, rushed in there. They were amazing, they literally saw her straight away. The woman there was like, I don't have the facilities to be able to do anything like this. She needs immediate surgery to potentially stop her from losing this eye. So that was it. I was literally in bits. I was crying, as you can imagine. And she said, you need to get yourself to Leicester, to this amazing vets. They're based in Glenfield, and I will write them below, because if you guys are based in the East Midlands at all, honestly, especially around the Nottingham sort of area, these guys were incredible. So I went there straight away. We saw a guy called Gareth Jones, who is literally amazing, and he basically took one look at her eye and was like, this is the worst I've seen in 23 years of practicing. Basically he explained it to me, but after he looked around, he said her eyeball is basically splitting apart, so it's tearing apart. So he's since told me, had she have coughed or sneezed badly, then that would have been it. Her eye would have imploded and she would have lost her eye. So that's how serious it was. He said, I think it's more of an ulcer, which we'll come on to in a second. The thing about Nelly is that, like a lot of dogs, they kind of hide their emotions, and so they won't act like they're in a lot of pain when actually they really are. Because I was thinking, well, if it was trauma, I would have heard her, she would have cried, she would have screamed, like, I would have known. And then he took a second look at it and he was like, actually, what I might try and do, because he said there's a lot of blood going on behind the eye and not very much tissue. So what we need to do is try something a bit old school, and I'm going to put a picture up here. So what they essentially did was they did some surgery on the eye, where they did like a bit of a lift on the eye. They kind of pulled some of her eyelid up to try and protect the eye. They put a load of antibiotics in to try and heal it, and then they put this tube over the top of her eye, and that was to basically kind of keep it all where it was meant to be and the antibiotics in place. We had to keep putting antibiotics into her eye 3 times a day. Now we got to day 2, and then my sister came home to my mum's because my mum was looking after her for one evening, and she said, Mum, her stitches have come out. So we then had to rush her to the emergency vets again. They took her in, they gave her pain relief instantly, and the guy that was there said, I think she's going to need her eye taken out. So the surgeon came in the next morning and he rang me first thing, and he said, actually, through doing what we did, that temporary fix, it's cleared her eye a little bit, and I can actually see that there's more tissue than we thought. Potentially what we can do now is a skin graft, like a graft, not a skin graft, sorry, it's like on the eye, so it'd just be a graft, and we could potentially save it. So obviously I was like, go for it, do it. He then said to me, had she not been as healthy as she is right now, if you don't look after your dog, if they're even the slightest bit overweight, especially with pugs with their breathing problems, he was like, luckily she's a very healthy pug and she's not almost like a normal pug with the way that she breathes. So he said, had this been another kind of normal pug situation, right now I'd be telling you she's about to be put down, because she won't be able to last that operation. So she wouldn't be strong enough to be able to get through. So that's the severity of this. So not only are you facing losing an eye, you're also facing losing your dog from what you literally think is just a simple kind of scratch or something that's in the eye. So this is how important it is, you guys, to really make sure you act on this as soon as you see it. She has now been out for about a week, just over a week. We've just been back to see the doctor, the surgeon, earlier on this week, and she has been doing amazing. She's actually got these red blood vessels that are coming over her eye, and originally I was quite nervous about that, but he was like, no, that's a really good sign that basically there's life coming back into the eye again. She is sleeping in my bed with me at night because I'm terrified that any little noise she makes, potentially they said she may now have pneumonia, because from going through all the stuff and through the operation, putting tubes down her, that can then potentially do damage to their systems as well. But what they think it was an ulcer, and this is very common in dogs and also especially pugs. This can happen at any stage, it can be any age, even a few months old, so please be so careful. The ulcer then obviously has kind of grown and has obviously caused the eye to then split open. And we're in the situation that we're in now. All I'd say is, if you notice any kind of difference in your dog, if their eyes leaking more, if they are kind of squinting a bit more or blinking a lot more, even if you think you're being overreactive, go to the vets. Just go. It's so worth it, because they can just treat it with antibiotic drops and it will go in a second. If you leave it for even a matter of hours, it can get to the point like Nelly, where it goes to beyond almost repair. Another thing is, if that blue-grey haze at all comes over the eye, get the dog there, or the animal there immediately. That is another sure sign that something is not right there. Now, you've still got another few days before we know truly whether or not this has been a successful operation. We need to go back in next week. They'll sedate her and they'll take the stitches out. They'll have another good look at her eye, and they will tell us whether or not it's worked. And then if it hasn't worked, they'll need to do an operation to get the eye out. If it has worked, fingers crossed, then she'll just need a few more kind of, weeks of antibiotics, and then hopefully she'll start to get better. So I'm going to show you little Penelope. Come here, Bubba. Now, she does have a cone on her. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you sleeping? Oh, she's having a little stretch. Come on, stretchy. Now, this is her with a little vase on. But if you guys can see, Say hi, Penelope. So this is her eye here. It's the funny one. And I'm going to show you some close-ups of it because I really wanted you guys to know kind of what signs to look for. So yeah, it's just that real blue kind of haze. Now she's still got a stitch in, but in a few days time she won't. As you can see, she's just super sleepy, so I'm going to get her back to resting. You sit down there, Buckle, good girl. She's getting trapped in all my wires as well. We're an absolute family of nightmares at the moment. So I basically just wanted to do this video just so you guys would be able to kind of recognise this if your dog is going through anything similar or has been through anything similar. If this just helps one person, this might not even get watched by that many people, but this means so much to me that I wanted to make a video for you guys just to explain what I've been through and how you can prevent it from happening yourself. I just wanted to say thank you all for your massive love and support. I love you all so much, and I will see you in a few days time with a happier video. So yeah, thanks you guys, love you, bye.